Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Jennifer's Perspective. And today, my very special guest is Mr. Adam Chiocca. He is a high school teacher, author, and now the founder of the Chiocca Network. Adam and his wife, Maimuna, are the proud parents of two teenage boys. Adam is on a great mission, and that is to support thousands of Black and brown girls and young women that to help them to go forth with faith, confidence, and courage. Now, in 2019, Adam wrote and published his first book, 50 Days to a Better Life, and enjoyed appearing on TV morning talk shows while on a 3-month nationwide book tour. And now he inspires by a beautiful dream. He has a vision to dream, and that is to build 14 dance studios in 14 major American cities in order to provide low cost, affordable, free dance classes and dance team experiences, competitions for Black and brown girls and boys, and those dance studios will be built in our communities of color. It is all in his new book, 50 Days to a Better Investment. Say good morning.
Good morning. So good to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, Adam. Thank you so very much. Thank you for joining us. Now, can you just give us a little backstory about who you are and why this mission?
Yes, sure. Great. So, 15 years public school teacher. So that's my day job. But for the last couple of years, nights and weekends, I've been working on this dream. I started writing the second book in 2015, just a couple months after Mike Brown fatally shot and killed in Ferguson, Missouri. We all remember
Mhm,
Ferguson.
mhm.
That was hands up, don't shoot, because he had his hands up. And yeah, I was so upset about racism, and I had been for quite some time. I've been a student of African American history, 25 years, and um, just in prayers and meditations and reaching up to God, I've discovered a life purpose, and so I'm just so blessed and so honored. I feel like a vessel, like an instrument, and yeah, it's awesome, the mission I'm on. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, Adam, can you tell me in what cities do you plan on building these 14 dance studios for our young girls and young men and women?
Yes, those are Boston, Philly, New York, DC, Baltimore, Atlanta, Charlotte, up to Chicago and Detroit, over to Los Angeles, back to Houston, Memphis, Tennessee, Birmingham, Alabama, and Jackson, Mississippi.
Thank you. Now, have you currently built a studio in where are you right now? In Boston, Massachusetts?
Right. So Boston, and I'm kind of at the beginning of the journey. So the book launch was just about a month ago, and I'm trying to find business partners and working on the first location.
Now, the first location. So you're also working on funding.
Right. Yes, I've never run a business before, so this is a big ask to the universe. It's
Mhm.
it's quite a big vision, and
Good morning, Shannon. Shannon says that you're an instrument of purpose outward and that your love choice of expression is your mission. Now, uh, let's see tell us what it is that you need to help get this foundation and these dance studios established?
Right. So I'm currently doing a book tour to publicize the mission and the vision, and
Mhm.
so people can buy my book on Amazon or on BarnesandNoble.com.
Mhm.
It's at all major booksellers. Also at my website, ChioccaNetwork.com. And yes, so I am, also learning about VCs and venture capitalists and how do companies get funding. And so I have a lot to learn, but I believe that with God, all things are possible. So the funding is on its way, and I am also reaching out. I do a lot of networking over Instagram and Clubhouse and meeting new friends all the time and trying to do a lot of networking because I feel like, eventually I'm going to get the right connections. I'm going to be on the phone with Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. Yes, we can make this happen. It's going to happen.
Can I ask you a question? Have you applied to the federal government for nonprofit aid?
No, I haven't. In fact, I don't envision it as a nonprofit. I do have this grand sort of business idea for it. And I could be wrong about this. I do share in the last chapter of the book how I'm very open-minded. So perhaps it will go that way. I'm in Boston. So let's imagine that in a few months, with my networking with political contacts here in Boston, let's imagine the mayor of Boston or the governor of Massachusetts wants to give me $3 million for a dance studio. Great. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to say no to that. So that is a possibility. It might end up being like a nonprofit or quasi-governmental foundation. But the vision, if that money doesn't show up, I have this sort of a big plan for how it can be a business, profitable, that we can, so as to build the dance studio number 2, 3, 4, up to 14. So, right. I have at this point, but it's, I guess I will share that, of course, some nonprofits do very well, but I feel like in general, what I've read and learned about nonprofits is for many, there's that unfortunate cycle of like, okay, we raised the 3 million we needed for this year. Great. Now we have to start fundraising for next year. And so it's like this constant cycle of, asking for donations and just to survive. And I thought, man, I don't know, is there a better way? Can I build it so that it's a profitable business so that we can stay afloat and I don't have to sort of beg for money every year? So that's what I'm thinking.
Now, so this dance studio the dance studios that you would like to make it, I guess, a chain of studios throughout North America. Basically, it'll be affordable. So do you need instructors? You need instructors. You need location. You need property. Have you reached out to any of these communities to connect with these communities to see if they can help you, I guess, to get your project off the ground and to actually lay the foundation?
Right. So I've done really robust networking, reaching out to new people every single day. So there is a, interesting dynamic on Instagram where it's, not everyone is responsive and some people are, and they might have good intentions, but then they might not make an appointment. So it's a lot of follow-up. And
so it's a lot of follow-up.
Yeah, so I think I'm doing a good job. I've tried to reach out to anyone who seems organizations and like leaders in Boston, where I am, to start the first location, and then of course organizations that work in our communities of color. So here in Boston, that's Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, Hyde Park. That's our Black and brown neighborhoods here in Boston. And so so I've been doing a lot of networking and meeting more people, and it feels good. It feels right. I think I'm on the right path, and I think it's going well.
Well, have you connected with any of the, I guess, the educational institutions, the junior high school, the high schools, the superintendents of the educational system? Have you reached out to the local community centers, the local churches, the Boys and Girls Club?
Right. Not yet for the schools. On my to-do list is we have a Boys and Girls Club in Boston and other youth centers. Of course, with the pandemic, everything was closed, but of course, people are working from home, so that's on my.
Even the local YMCA?
Yeah. So that's on my to-do list. Yep. I will be reaching out to.
Shannon says, would reaching out to minority group associations?
Right. Yes, that will happen. I've got a big list. I've sort of made an annual plan for this year of 21 where I am reaching out to those organizations and also thinking about celebrity connections for our sports here in Boston. So like the Boston Celtics, the Boston Red Sox, the New England Patriots. These are our, the professional football, basketball, baseball franchises. So
We love them.
Yeah, it's a lot of reaching out, and I think I'm on the right path, and it's going well. Thank you.
Okie dokie. So have you put a team together to help you because you're going to need a team. You're going to definitely need a team with such a massive undertaking. You are going to need a team to help you, to assist you with I guess with the gatekeepers and the appointments and the networking. So how, with the book tour, do you have a copy of the book with you?
You know what? I was doing an Instagram live and I left it in the car, not in my school bag. No, don't have one with me.
It's okay. So now, when do you plan on starting the project?
Right. So I was hoping that, if COVID is done this summer and people can go out, I have this plan where I'm performing with my band in Boston, and it was like a plan to go Instagram Live and Facebook Live, and we have our regular gig in Boston. So trying to build like a fan base, which is the sort of the media side of it. I have this idea for building a media company that can be very profitable to help fund the dance studios. So it's kind of like that idea with, if you know Paul Newman, Newman's Own, he has the pizza, the salad dressing, the lemonade, and his face is on the cover. And on the pizza box, it says 100% of profits go to charity. And so I realized this is a social venture. And so I've got this grand vision for building a media empire. Like, how do I build the next Netflix, BET, Tyler Perry Studios, Paramount, and make millions so that we can provide low-cost, affordable hip-hop dance classes for the dancers in our programs. So there is this, side journey, which I don't think I don't know. I can't remember if I told you all about this yet. My past in Broadway, New York City, wanting to be Johnny Carson. How do I manifest this? Okay, fine. How do I build the next Netflix, BET, Paramount? So it's like a Paul Newman's Own pizza thing, where it's like, okay, great, let's make a lot of money, and then it all goes to the girls. It all goes to the dance studio.
Well, here's another question. Have you tried to reach out to the community? Because I think that would be the first place for you to start, would be within your own community.
Yes. So I've reached out to a lot of people in Boston, and of course, the Black and Brown community here in Boston. And so
Well, you
Um,
can also try the white community as well, because I think we all need each other.
yes.
We all need each other. I was walking in the park near my house, and there's a statue of Dr. Martin Luther King, and on the pavement, it's at what, FDU, Fairleigh Dickinson University, and you should see the names on the pavement of all the people that actually donated to the park and helped, with the fundraising. So not only for the statue, but to build the park itself. And I think that that would be the first place for you to start, is within your own community, within the high schools, and speak to the moms and get the moms on your side. And I think that would be, because once you get the moms, and you get the moms to work together as a unit to help you with your vision. And I think you should reach out to them, and within your own school system, you can start there.
I love it. Good thinking.
Now, let's see. Now, you also written another book. What is the name of that book?
That my first book was 50 Days to a Better Life.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my sharing how I got sober. I was a drunk, an alcoholic 5 years ago, dealing with anxiety and depression. And so I went through a midlife crisis, but also a major personal transformation. So that's the news. I changed, I grew, I discovered my soul within, my spirit. And it was so powerful, so beautiful. I mean, I went from stress level 9 or 10 every day to like stress level 0. I'm on purpose now. I feel like I'm in alignment with God and the universe. Every day I'm, doing the right things towards this mission to make it come true. And it's so awesome. I'm excited and inspired. So yeah, so my first book was, I realized I could help others how to overcome alcoholism, stress, anxiety, depression.
Now, with that, you went on your own spiritual journey to, what were your sources? How did you connect or reconnect with yourself?
Thank you. I will share that. I think it's interesting how I wasn't even looking to find a book on how to quit drinking or how do I get sober. I was just in the self-help section at my library. I like audiobooks because I used to listen to books on my commute to work in the morning. And I just happened to come across Wayne Dyer. And so I discovered Dr. Wayne Dyer, and I loved what he had to say. And for when he spoke, it was like the truth. I'm like, oh my God, nobody ever told me the truth. Like, wow, blew my mind and blew my world. So I discovered some secrets to the universe and learned some valuable life lessons and learned about my own psychology too. So that was important, just to really get better at my thinking, like, for example, like standing at the gates of your mind, not allowing people just to dump in whatever they want, but being in charge of my own thinking and realizing that I could have control over my thoughts and feelings. And it was liberating. It was awesome. As you can see now, I feel like I can take on the world.
Oh my gosh. Well, listen, now that your head is clear and you're sober, now you've been clean for how long, or sober for how many years?
Oh, not even that long. That was 2019, the first day. So 2018, end of 2018 is when I got sober. So yeah, just a few years ago, 3 years ago.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now you are on a mission to help the Black and brown girls within your community and within our country. So let's see. What is your next step or your next plan of action?
Right. So, I was, thinking about, like, I've got this grand networking plan, right? So I'm like, I started January 1st sending Instagram DMs to Rihanna, J-Lo, Beyonce, Little Kim, and realizing, oh, I'm not going to be able to get through. Rihanna's not going to read my DMs. It's hard to cut through, so, and Rihanna has a team, and, it's like too hard to reach out to her. So I realized I could pivot and network with awesome. I could find bloggers and influencers and people who have podcasts like Jennifer Gray, and meeting new people all the time.
You need a PR team.
Amen. I love it.
You need a PR team, and you also need a marketing strategist. And I think this would be a good place to start, not only within your community, but get a PR team, get a marketing strategist, and do some fundraising within your community and do a press release.
That's not bad. I was going to say that you said, what are the next steps? So I was, to answer your question, I'll say that, I've read a lot of books on entrepreneurship, and, opening up your own dance studio, there is overhead, right? So it's like, okay, paying for the heating bill in the winter and AC in the summer and running water in the bathrooms, and the lights have to be on, and I have to hire
instructors,
4 or 5 dance instructors, and I need a receptionist at the front desk. And yeah, so it's like, I was thinking, how can I, if J-Lo doesn't show up with a check for $4 million this summer, okay, how do I make this happen anyways? And so I thought about, I've got this plan for like doing an event like at a popular Boston City Square, where I get a city permit and I rent out a city square in which it's like an outdoor, like free dance classes for kids in the neighborhood on one day, and it's several hours. And I have, interested dance instructors that would like to be hired, that it's sort of like part of their interview. Like I if they could show me, like, can you teach a group of kids, 10 or 15 kids, some dance moves, and we'll have speakers and they connect their phone to it to play some music. And you can imagine cones, or it's like coned off, and perhaps hot dogs and hamburgers, and something like a community event where it's free dance classes. If you can imagine a beautiful summer day in July or August.
Can I ask you a question? Are you registered with the Chamber of Commerce within your city? Because you can speak to the event planner and they can help you.
Okay, good point. I'll write that down. I hadn't thought about that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Because then they can help you plan the event, and I guess they can also help you pick the location.
Oh, really? Do they do that?
Well, connect with them. Connect with your local Chamber of Commerce, register your business and the company, and I think that would be a good place to start.
That's a good point. That's great. I don't even know what the Chamber of Commerce does. I thought they just sort of like take.
They do a lot.
But thank you.
They do a lot.
Taught me something new today. Why, thank you, Ms. Gray.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, let's see. I think we have, another 3 minutes. So, what other ideas do you have?
Well, I do love to share the sort of like how I came to these ideas, or where the idea came from. If I could share that,
you can share that.
So I was coaching my boys in sports. My wife, as you know, is from West Africa, and so we have 2 boys who are biracial. And so I was coaching them in soccer for years, and we are in the suburbs, half an hour north of Boston. So when we would play soccer teams around here, we would play against teams with like a lot of little white boys. So I often had that perspective, like my kid is the only black kid on the team, and no big deal. I mean, everyone was nice. It's not like I can say much about that. But I will say that around age 10, when my older one was age 10, we started doing AAU basketball. Did I tell you about this? You're familiar with AAU?
Yes, I am.
And so for folks that know AAU
tournament, they do a tournament league, correct?
Yeah.
And they travel around the state or around the country.
Yes, teams can travel
tournaments
and go to tournaments. So you could see 40 or 50 teams over a 3-day weekend. So if you can imagine, each team has got 13 boys, and it's more boys than girls, of course, it is basketball. But for me, it was the first time in my life as a white man that I got to see a youth basketball team with just like 13 black and brown boys on the team. Fantastic. It was wonderful. I realized it's good enrichment. It's helping these boys become young men. They had like 4 coaches, well organized. The uniforms were amazing. And so many teams like that. So it was cool, but I was curious, what do we have for girls here in Boston? They do have AAU teams for girls, but it's not as many. It pales in comparison. And so at that time I saw the same thing in Pop Warner football. Again, we are off in the suburbs, and we'd play football teams mostly over the last 7 years with, against teams with like 45 little white boys. Okay, fine, no big deal. But then at that time we started to play against Brockton and Randolph, for anyone who knows Boston, and these are diverse communities right near Boston. And so first time as a white man that I got to see a youth football team with 45 black and brown boys. And again, fantastic, wonderful. 10 coaches, uniforms, awesome. They played well. It was so good to see all these opportunities for black and brown boys here in Boston. But again, I was curious, like, what do we have for girls? And so I discovered the popularity of hip hop dance. And as I told you, I drove all around Boston, and I found about 24 dance studios out in the suburbs, which I think is a lot for one city, 24 dance studios. But it's out in the suburbs, right? So I'd walk in, and it was like 100 little white girls doing ballet in the suburbs. And so, fine, it's a dance studio, it's in operation. And then I thought, do we have these dance studios for our black and brown girls here in Boston? And so I drove all around Boston, and I found 5 or 6 that had shut down, went out of business. So they used to be there.
Wow.
With a smartphone, you can just put like Dance Studio Boston, and you could just drive to whatever location, right? But Google doesn't always have the most up-to-date information. So Google didn't know that these 5 or 6 dance studios had shut down. And so this was like, real life research. I was just blown away. I did find 2.
Can I ask you a question, Adam? The dance studios that had shut down, was it in the minority neighborhood?
Yes, right. And so that's where the idea was born. It was like, okay, I need to do this. I need to build a dance studio. We have all these opportunities for boys, but not as many opportunities for girls. Rather than sort of work towards like a basketball program or something, I realized it was kind of like, why fight the culture? Like, okay, most parents of moms encourage cheer, gymnastics, and dance. So, okay, fine, I'll work with them. Yeah. So,
wow.
And of course, on reality TV, it's a big deal. Maybe, Miss Diana Williams has the Dancing Dolls, a big brand in the South. And there are some really successful dance studios in the South, but not seeing any here in Boston. It was like, okay, I need to do this. I can build this.
Now, have you thought of a GoFundMe page? Probably. That's also a good place to start as well.
Yes, I have been thinking about that and trying to learn more about how to do that. Like, it's, here's a question I don't know. Is it only for nonprofits, or can like an LLC, a new business, run that?
It's a GoFundMe. And I think with GoFundMe, I think they have a business page, and they also have like for personal causes. So I think you can also look into that as well.
Yes, I will be doing that. Again, I felt like I was just at the beginning of this. So I kind of got going, of course, just with the book launch in March, like 6 weeks ago. And so, but yes, I thought, when is the right time for that? So it's on the to-do list. Thank you.
Okay. All right, then. Well, if someone wanted to connect with you or to contact you, how would they be able to connect with you?
Sure. So I'm very active on social media. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram. Adam Chiocca, Chiocca.
Chiocca.
Chiocca, Adam Chiocca.
Sorry, Adam.
That's okay. No, everyone gets it wrong. It's, Chiocca. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and my website, chioccannetwork.com. And my books are on sale there at my website and also at Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Walmart and Target. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Adam, thank you so very much for your time and thank you for your information. Thank you for the information. And let's see. I hope I'll be following you to find out what's going on with the update on the dance studios and Adam Chiocca.
It's okay.
What is it, Adam? Say it again.
It's like chalk on a blackboard and then add an A.
Adam Chiocca.
Yeah.
Adam Chiocca Dance Studios. Okay, then. All right, Adam. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time and good luck. And remember, check with the Chamber of Commerce that is within your city. I think that would be the first place to start. Okay. And if you want to plan the event, they also have event planners that you can connect with within the Chamber of Commerce and connect with the PTA and let's see, the local minority association groups within your community. Okay, and good luck. Thank you. Honor and respect.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome. Thank you, Adam.